Generating the future means, first of all, going back and remembering where we came from. How did it all begin? It all began with the old man, who we call as the pioneer, but no, he was Israel's first entrepreneur. And of course, what was his startup? Israel. Israel was the startup. And we know that, many of you know that, because you've seen this incredible diary that we found in the building next door that David Ben-Gurion wrote on November 29th, 1947. It's been decided 33-13-10. That was the UN vote for the partition plan. And then what does Ben-Gurion do? He takes out his pen and he writes down a startup list, a government, a name. I thought this was beer. It's actually a capital. Bira is the same. He goes on to have ports, an airport, a currency, judges, courts, constitution. All right, he didn't get everything right. But this was what he had to get done within 6 months to build a country. It wasn't enough to have that. Even after the country was founded, he continued to dream. At a time when there were more camels in Beersheba than people, and you can check the statistic, he dreamed of a Hebrew Oxford in the Negev. I mean, again, I've said this many times, was he a dreamer or a crazy man? Who could have imagined a Hebrew Oxford in the Negev when today Ben-Gurion University has over 20,000 students? He continued to dream. He wrote of scientists and researchers who would get energy from the sun, water from the air, develop ways of having vegetables and fruits grown from the sands of the desert, talked about sustainability before it was a buzzword. And I think we can all agree that what we've accomplished since then is nothing short of remarkable, and that's what brings us all together. It's really a moment of pride for me to stand here. I think it's a pride for all of us to be here, because we understand intuitively what is the role of Ben-Gurion University, what is the role of higher education in changing a society. But I had to ask myself the question, do other people in the Negev appreciate, understand, feel the same thing that we do? So as an academic, we actually carried out a study of people in the Negev, asking them, what are the institutions that you think are ultimately important for the future of the Negev? But more than that, what are the institutions which make you feel proud? And the one institution that was up in the corner with the most pride, but on the most importance, was Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. There was one institution which had a little bit more pride, not as much importance, but that may change tonight. Anyone from Beersheba have any idea what that might be? Hapoel Beersheba, the football team. And it's a very important game tonight. I know that some of you will not be at the things to be part of that game, and that's completely understandable. But it's clear that we are the beating heart of the Negev. We are what keeps it going. And I could stand here, like I do every year, and tell you more of the same, more of the great things that we do. I could go on for 15 minutes, but let me do it in 1 minute. Okay, so our external research budgets have continued to grow to the amount of research done in the university is higher than at any point in history. This has led to another annual increase in Vatat government funding for the university of $10 million over the past year, $40 million over the past 3 years. Student registration continues to rise. I got the statistics yesterday. We're already up 10%, over 10% of where we were last year, and it continues to rise incredibly in the humanities. We're the only university, I think, in the world that this past year we had a balanced budget. Definitely the only university in Israel, and this is only because of the incredible work done by the administrative staff of the university. And what this means, a balanced budget, is that there is more funds available for what we're supposed to be doing, which is education and research. We had new research centers over the past year. The Klein Institute for Nuclear Science and Engineering, which is going to be dealing with small nuclear reactors, this brand new way of nuclear energy that is so important for the future. And last week, the Senate voted for the formation of a new faculty, the Faculty of Computer and Information Sciences. As an outcome of all of this, we rose almost 200 places in international rankings last year. This really is a moment of pride. So I could stop here, but I don't want to. The question has to, though, is what is this impact worth to the Negev? We're doing incredible things. We feel that there's an impact. We intuitively know that we have an important role. When we carried out an impact study, an economic impact study, using the same criteria that most of the major universities in the United States use. And anyone have a guess what is the annual economic impact of Ben-Gurion University on the Negev? 3.5 billion shekels impact annually. This is by doing what we do every day, whether it's in salaries, in economic impact, in what our students renting apartments, in our ATP. That's incredible. Just by our daily activities, almost $1 billion goes into the Negev economy. And this is not just numbers. I mean, this is we're changing lives, whether it be first-generation students who come to the university, incredible research in like quantum chemistry, or in research done here at Stable Care, building a wine industry for the Negev. And the list goes on and on and on. But is this enough? Can we just sit on our laurels and say, wow, we're doing great? And yes, we are doing great. But I think after October 7th, and we talked a lot about this last year, when we saw the importance of Ben-Gurion University to the Negev, where every institution, every community reaching out to us, I think the answer is no. We realize that we have to have an even larger footprint. Just imagine what would happen if we would double our impact. If instead of $1 billion, it would be $2 billion. I mean, why not? Why shouldn't that be our goal? And I think that has to be how we try to think strategically forward. How can we increase our impact? And I want to present a small plan of things I think we need to think about going forward. First of all, we need to build a university that is AI resilient. I'll get into this in a second. What do I mean by AI resilient? We need to have a renewed commitment to the Negev. And we need to use entrepreneurship as the culture or force that defines us as a university. What's an AI resilient university? Now, of course, every university in the world, every institution, every school will be AI integrated. We cannot be. But what is the role of a university when every student has the learning of the world in their pocket? What we need to do is to embrace AI, but to do it without losing our humanity. And this helps us understand why we need to still coming to university. What does that mean without losing our humanity? I wasn't quite sure, really, what is the role of a university? So I decided to ask someone. And the person I decided to ask was David Ben-Gurion. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't heard, we built a chatbot called ChatDBG. It's online, you can find it, and you can ask David Ben-Gurion any question. And so let's ask David what he thinks about this. So do you think artificial intelligence will replace the university? A university is based on it's based on deep values, focused on learning, research, and the development of human knowledge. I am convinced that artificial intelligence cannot replace the university. Okay, yeah. No, I don't accept that answer. Sorry, that's too generic. So, David, AI can teach, write, and even simulate reasoning. Isn't that enough? Technology can help us disseminate information and even partially replace teaching, but it cannot replace human judgment, academic dialogue, or the personal connections formed in universities. Remember this word connections. I want to come back to it because maybe that is what defines us as a university. But I'll ask them one more question. So what makes a university irreplaceable? Academia is a place where ideas, values, dreams, and cultures meet, This is something no machine can replicate. Registration for Ben-Gurion University is rising faster than at any other university in Israel. And why is that? It's because of the connectedness. Even when students want to have classes in Zoom, they want to do it together in the same room. They want to have a connection with their fellow students. They want to have a connection with their professors. They want to have a connection with the region, with the Negev, have a connection with the society. They're looking for meaning. So maybe actually one way of describing Ben-Gurion University is we are the one university that is a university of connecting, that students want to come to our campuses in order to meet other people. As one student said, we come to be Ben-Gurionim. People go to other universities to get a degree. Here they come to be part of their identity. And so in order to do this, we're going to have to double down on what it means to be human. Doesn't mean we're not going to stop studying engineering, computer science, medicine, and everything else. But we have to rethink what learning means. So, for example, if I can get any fact that I want here, if we're looking at STEM education, we'll have to go from absorbing language to expanding it, challenging the students right off for research and coming up with new ideas. We don't need to have them memorize anything. If we're looking at computer science, ChatGPT can code all we want. So we're not looking for coding AI. We have to reimagine our relationship with it. I met a PhD student. I asked her, what's your thesis on? She said, I'm studying fairness in artificial intelligence and how to program fairness. That's not just coding. This is incredible. And in medical care and healthcare, we have to go from human-centered care, that's going to stay human-centered care. But AI will be integrated in how we use it. We have to not forging minds, but to change it. This is what we want to do, our students know how to change the world. AI will be integrated in everything, but we have to remember the students as people. And in this age where meaning is the new scarcity, data is unlimited. Our students are looking for meaning, and we give them meaning, especially in the Negev, especially after October 7th. And this is why we really have to have our renewed commitment to the Negev, because this is part of our meaning. We always have had a Negev strategy. But let's double down on it and have every academic unit, every social unit, every administrative unit in the university have a Negev-based strategy. We need to reach beyond our 3 campuses. But let's already look, what is our footprint in the Negev? And to look at it, I went to Google Earth. We actually have 3 campuses in Beersheba, the Tuviau campus, the Bergman campus, and the Marcus campus. But of course, we zoom out. We have a growing, wonderful campus in Eilat, which some of you know about. We have here in Stable Care, the newly named, or soon-to-be newly named, Sylvan Adams campus. We have research stations where we just got several $1 million grant at the Mashash Farms. We go across, we have a research project with the Bedouin community in Wadi Yatir. We're now doing a new project in Sderot with occupational therapy with Sapir College and a water research center in Sderot after October 7th. We've opened a marine biology station in Ashkelon, and we have an agricultural research station that we're responsible for near Be'eri, near Oz, on the Gaza envelope. So we already are more than just our 3 campuses. But imagine that we can populate these pins also in Dimona, in Yerucham, in Arad, in Ofakim. What will our impact be on the Negev when we manage to do that? We'll continue to open up opportunities for higher education for youth of the Negev, Jews and Bedouin alike. We'll conduct research that is based here in the Negev on the most pressing needs, whether it be in education, in social work, or in water research, or in a myriad of any other things. And we're going to advance Negev-born solutions here for the Negev. Which brings us to the idea that entrepreneurship is the cultural force that defines us as a university. This all comes from David Ben-Gurion University. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is being audacious, is not accepting the reality as it is, being able to dream of a future that doesn't exist. So we, of course, know entrepreneurship through Yazamut 360. We'll hear more about this. Yazamut 360 has provided this magic dust that influences all the faculties, has the potential to influence all the students, influences even the way the administration of the university works. Let's expand it beyond just that, also to social entrepreneurship, how we can work in the Negev with new, outlandish, audacious ideas which will have massive, massive impact. Let's just look, for example, how this is affected. This is, again, Google Earth in 2004. Look up here, this is the North Campus, or what will be the North Campus. It was sort of like a dirt bike place, I think. This is where what will be the ATP, what will be the IDF base, and here in the middle is where will be my apartment. We forget that this is what Beersheba looked like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But already in 2021, we see we have dormitories. We see there's the DNA bridge. There's more buildings built in Gavyam, in the ATP. The apartments have been built. And in 2024, we already see here those first two buildings rising out of the North Campus. The only way we've been able to do this incredible thing is through this audacious thinking, through audacious fundraising, through audacious dreaming. And when we just imagine when we're here 5 years from now and the North Campus has 5, 6, 7, 8 new buildings in it, but not just because they're buildings. We're not here to be Herod. Think of the innovation coming out of those buildings. But there's still so much more to be done. But I just want to give you a sneak preview of what we're going to be looking at this afternoon, where we're going to be laying the cornerstone for the Cindy and Max Mintzberg Cultural and Convention Center, the iconic building that will define the North Campus and redefine culture in Beersheba and the Negev. Last year, we talked about Ben-Gurion University as a fifth wave university. The first wave university teaches, a second wave educates, researches, a third commercializes, a fourth contributes economically, but a fifth wave university is intimately integrated with the community. And we are Israel's fifth wave university. By being of the Negev, we contribute globally. By standing together with the Negev, especially in times of crisis, especially in times of need, we prove that academia can be the healing force which builds a better world. Ben-Gurion University said the future will arise from the Negev. And here, what we are doing is it's generating the future from Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. We're not just Ben-Gurion University. We have to remember it's always of the Negev. And together we will generate that future. Thanks very much.